Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation. Thank you very much for joining me. So I had lots of experiences as of late, but there's one fair exchange that's happened that I wanted to just reflect on a little bit and kind of point out. So I'm reaching out to all these people and I'm swallowing my pride after many, many years and finally putting my hand up and going, hey, Glenn needs help. I need some infrastructure and I don't have the ability to get that done for whatever reason at this point in time. And a lot of people stepped up to help. And one in particular sent a decent quantity of money that actually was enough to settle things out and make a transition into getting a car. And I thank you very much. You know who you are. But during the course of these conversations, they were saying, hey, well, I'll send it to you in Bitcoin. I'm like, no, Bitcoin. I'm like, I have no prejudice against get Bitcoin, but I mean, why can't you just send daddy a check or just, send me a PayPal payment or something like that, something I have infrastructure for that's already there. And I'm like, well, I'm a little stressed because I don't know if I can gather enough of what I need, and I need to try to figure out this Bitcoin thing. And I mean, I understand the principle, and I've done a lot of research, but I've never sent, Bitcoins from A to B. And it was an interesting adventure and took a little while, basically to find a repository where you could deposit it into a U.S. bank. You can get Bitcoin, sell it off into U.S. dollars, and then deposit it. It took a little while to get to a place where that could be done. But what was interesting during this conversation, at first they were going to say, well, I'm going to send you X amount. And then I'm on the phone with the client, I'm looking, and I'm finally off my phone call, and this person wants to chat because I had sent the Bitcoin over. And I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what he said he was going to send. I'm like, whoa, hold on. I'm like, no, I need to get myself together here. So I finish up that call, I do my notes, and then I kick out Skype, and this person's in Europe. And I jump on the phone and I'm like, did I need to send some of that back? Did you mean to send what you sent? And da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, no, that is for you. And they said something that has kind of stuck with me. So it wasn't mine. I was just holding on to it for you. And now it's back in your hands. It's like, and I've heard that theology before that, I was just holding it for you, and I'm like, well, thank you. I'm glad. Are you holding any more for me? Just kidding. Yeah, but it started a level of balance and excitement that has thrown me off quite a bit because there's all this work to be done now. It's like to shop for a car, and now I'm thinking that that's work, and I'm like, that's a privilege, and that's your right as an immortal being in a timeless reality. It's like, well, so I'm bouncing between 3D and 5D. I'm like, I have some calm periods, and then I'm like, oh man, there's so much to do, and I'm like, well, why do you need to get this? You don't live in that 3D world anymore. Don't have to get all of it done right now. Get done what feels exciting, and then you don't need a car tomorrow. It's been 13 years. You can, it's okay. You can take a week or so. Tomorrow I'm going to go do some proper shopping and test drive some more different models to make sure, because I can't see out of the side. It's prosthetic, so I only have vision on one side. So it's very important how the car is configured and where the blind spots are, and that I can look over my shoulder very quickly and see as much of broad spectrum of area as possible. We have very few blind spots in Glenn's cars. It's very, very important. So lots and lots of shopping to do. But I wanted to talk about this idea of fair trade and Bitcoin, where it is because I learned a lot when I was going through this process. And it's interesting, before I was pulling it out and putting it somewhere, you go to your bank account and you look and you have X amount. You go to a stock portfolio and it fluctuates. And you go into your Bitcoin wallet, which is where your electronic Bitcoins are held, and it's fluctuating. It's like I had so much, and then I go back and I had so much, before you pull it out. And I was like, that's kind of awesome. And it was tending to go up. It flux, but it was like, ooh, it had these like really interesting little bounces around. And it's a currency that once you have it, it's yours. It can't be taken away. And there's a public ledger globally, worldwide, held not on just one computer, but strewn across many, replicated across, so that there can be authentication, and it's forever. There's other coins, other besides Bitcoins, that have come out that are even like have higher abilities where they can do all kinds of cool things. There's things called blockchains, and you can make contracts that can't be broken for as long as you put performance parameters on them, and the computer sees what's going on, and this global interconnected sets of computers that people have agreements with can execute things to happen based upon these agreements, and there's no Indian giving. You can't say, no, I don't want to do that anymore. It's like, well, provided that we hit these performance parameters, whatever they are, that can be tracked, a computer knows that's done, poof, the money is exchanged in the way that was pre-agreed. So there's a lot of fair exchange. So this person considered, these Bitcoins that they had a fair exchange for, like the video blog, and just a fair exchange between this person and I. So I wanted to thank them specifically in case they're watching, and everybody else that has been supportive. There's been a lot of other people that have been supportive, some in the way of loans, and some in the way of donations, and yay! There's still a little bit to go. I did get approved for some to drive for Uber if I wanted to, as a supplement to doing consulting at the same time. So if I'm out and about, pick up a fare and have some extra money in that way too. And I like that idea that, you're a regular person, not this person in a taxi, but somebody just got up and did the same thing you did and was going to their day, and it's just not being a taxi. Because in Vegas, if you are not on the strip and you call a taxi, if you're in the outskirts of Vegas like we are, you can wait an hour before a cab gets there. And that's because they stay on the strip, because bang, 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 hotel, hotel, hotel. These quick trips make them the most money. And they're always working. There's you get on shift and you're working until you're forced to get off of your shift and you've made your DOT time or whatever regulatory agency for the day. For Uber, they have rules as well, for how long you can stay on standby and how much you can drive. But you can be like in the outskirts of Vegas and call like a Lyft or an Uber, and somebody will show up within like 10, 15 minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes. You don't have to sit there waiting with your groceries or whatever it is, or you need to get to school or babysit it or whatever it is. You can get from A to B. So these types of services are also, I would think, fair trade and in this idea as well. So lots of ranting and raving today, but I just wanted to bring you all up to speed on what's going on. And the feedback I did get from a couple people, one of which was helpful in sending some money toward this effort. And they were saying, it's looking very interested to see what's going to happen when all the videos are not in a fixed location and there's like the ability to go places. It's like, ooh, danger, Robinson, danger. So, and yes, I'm excited about that as well. And at the same time, it's this, I see two different potentials. I see like a 3D servitude potential, or, I could go into a cycle of, just going and getting on the wheel like the rat going into the rat race, or recognizing that I'm a 5D being, and that if I start centering into my heart and feeling what would be the most and the next exciting thing to do, and release some of these pensive tendencies that I have over money and these types of ideas, that this could be a potential of anything. It could lead to just an indefinite amount of perpetual money and excitement and fun and interesting people to see. So I'm bouncing between the two during this process because, I'm shopping and I'm doing things that are uncomfortable. I'm spending money buying, getting things that are needed, for the car and other types of things. Just all these things that are happening that are kind of out of character, and doing shopping for insurance and 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 wanting to get it all done right now, you know, and having I want it all tomorrow, and I'm like, well, it's okay. You don't do it in a pace that's comfortable. Do it in a pace that's fun. It's not going anywhere. You know, there's always been such a sense of urgency of life and death, and whether you're going to eat, and these types of ideas, and it has been so for such a long time that it's starting to, you know, release the energy in the body and in the mind and all these things and ideas that have built up in the reticular activating system, the way your mind works, NLP and all these things, and energetically releasing those ideas and peeling the onion layer down, you know, of that energy and letting that go and letting that process and going and going and going. So it's ego negotiation. It is recognizing when you are thinking that it all needs to be done, and oh, I didn't get that, and it's like, oh, it's okay. Everything happens in its proper timing. You don't need to, you know, stress over those things, and there's enough, and you have enough now to, you know, not have to be rushed or hurried, or, you know, could there always be more, you know, a little bit more of a buffer? Yeah, but, you know, it's not like this, I can get into a car, but I'm going to have to, like, work, you know, 50 hours the first week to make sure that everything balances out. It's a very calm, and it's a very 5D type of energy, and it's very loving, this exchange that everybody did. The people that gave me, you know, donations, and the people that gave me loans was a very, like a soul family type of love. It was like somebody going, well, hey, you know, we know you need support, and you know, here it is. It's kind of hard to explain, like, what it felt like, but the people that were supportive in a way that other people that I thought would be supportive would be, and then some individuals that have been supportive, I had no idea that they would be supportive. So it has been a different and interesting journey, and I do look forward to more and more being in my excitement and this pensiveness of the fear of how much unconditional love is going to start coming in once this new and unbridled energy comes, is calming down. Because I've had episodes where it's like, it's just overwhelming how much unconditional love is coming through, and now it's starting to be sustained. And the last week it has barely come up because I'm still peeling the onion and balancing out and getting into a calm space. And I think today is the calm space, and then from here on out it will be a lot more. I was trying to get too much done, and now it's going to be a lot more calm and relaxed pace. Yes. So thank you very much for joining me. Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation, coaching life, business, and spiritual. Also retreats, boys and girls. If I can survive 20-something years, 13 years without a car, and making critical life decisions as to what to buy to keep myself alive, or have a cell phone on, or do these types of things, let me tell you, in most circumstances where you think that you're in a bad spot, I certainly would probably be able to give you some guidance as to which direction might be more joyous for you, because sometimes you just get caught up in what's going on. Now, down below in the description, there are tons of things going on. Links to people I think are in the new energy, and links to different channels, and my websites, and all these types of ideas, things, and interesting links. And if you do like this video, please do like, subscribe, and share.